Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Chapter 10, Angles in Circles. Exercise 10A, it's all about the basic facts of the angles. So what are your main objectives? Your main objectives are to understand the basic facts and definitions of different types of angles, and then to find the missing angle, and with that you have to give the reason that how did you find that angle. So first of all, let's discuss some of the definitions. The first one, it says angles on a straight line add up to 180 degrees. Like if you have angles, or when you place the angle side by side and you are getting a straight line, so you can see here we have here three angles that we have placed them together, so they are giving us a straight line. That means angles on a straight line, they add up to 180. For example, maybe this one is 40 degrees, let's say, and this one is let's say 110 degrees. So how much will be this one? Easily we can find that this angle will be 30 degrees because they have to add up to 180. Similarly, they can give you a question like this, like they can say they will give you this picture and they want you to find the value of m. So how can you find the value of m? Because you can see the both of them, they are adding up. After adding up, they are giving us a straight line, so you will do 180 minus 140 to find the value of m. Angles at a point add up to 360. Similarly, if you have angles around a point, all of them, their sum will be 360, and they can give you a question like this: find the value of x. So you can clearly see that there are three angles around this point. One of the angle is x and the other one is 147 and 132. So you will add these two first and then you will subtract from 360 to know the value of x. The next is vertically opposite angles are equal. What does it mean? It means that whenever two lines, they cross each other, whatever the size of the angle is, they can cross like this or they can cross like this. Then we find some angles, pair of angles, you can say, they are equal to each other. For example, this angle P will be equal to P and this angle Q will be equal to Q. And they can give you a question how to find the value of this B, because you can say it's opposite to this one, vertically opposite to this one, so its value will be 40 degrees. By the way, they can ask you to find the value of this one also, like what is the value of this angle. Now, because you can clearly see that here you have a straight line, this one, it's a straight line, and there are two angles on the straight line, 40 degrees, and how much will be this one? So it will be 140 degrees, because you will subtract this 40 degrees from 180. Clear? So let's discuss some more definitions. Here we have some more definitions. It says that the angles of a triangle, they add up to 180. So you can say the sum of the three angles is 180, right? And they can give you a question like this, like if you have 79, 41, two angles are given and they want you to find the third angle, so you will add these two and the sum will be subtracted from 180. Okay, the sum of the four angles in any quadrilateral, it's 360 degrees. A, B, C, D are the four angles of the quadrilateral. If you will add them, it will be 360. Okay, now here they can give you a question like this: find the value of the missing angle. Again, you will add all these three angles together, and then whatever the answer will be, the answer will be subtracted from 360 to know the value of the fourth angle. Clear? Let's discuss some more rules. These are the rules about the parallel lines. What if you have a pair of parallel lines? Now, how will you know that the lines are parallel? Usually they make these arrows to show that the lines are parallel to each other, and here you can see they have drawn the arrows here. So for example, if you have two lines that are parallel to each other, and there's a third line that is, you can say, crossing them, or this is actually called a transversal. So when a transversal, it cuts a pair of parallel lines, various angles are formed. So if you will be discussing these two angles that are on the same side of this transversal, and one of them is inside the parallel lines and one of them is outside the parallel lines, so these two angles are called corresponding angles, and they are always equal. By the way, if you notice that corresponding angles, if you highlight them, for example here, this is the corresponding angle and this is the corresponding angle, then clearly you can see that if we like take these two corresponding angles, it is making a shape of the F. Like take the two parallel lines, and this line is the transversal. So what shape is this? It's an F shape. So the similar position angles framed by the F shapes are always equal to each other, and they are called corresponding angles. By the way, it's not always the shape will be like exactly F shape. It can be upside down, as you can see in the second part of the same picture. This angle is 70 and this angle is also 70. It's upside down. Not only upside down, it can be, you can say, flipped. It can be of this side as well. So here the angle that will be made here and the angle that will be made here, they will also be corresponding angles, and they will be parallel to each other, because these two are the parallel lines and this line is the transversal. Clear? Now, what are alternate angles? Alternate angle is also a pair of angles. When you have two parallel lines, how will you know they are parallel? They will draw these arrows to show that the lines are parallel and there is a transversal. It cuts. Then the pair of angle, the one that is on one side of the transversal and the other one is on the other side of the transversal, these two angles are equal to each other. And if you notice that in this picture, if I have highlighted this one, this and this, so the angle that is made here and the angle that is made here because of this transversal, these are called alternate angles and they are equal to each other. And you can say the opposite sides angles framed by the Z shape are always equal to each other. So it means for the alternate angles we can keep the word Z in our mind, and for the corresponding angles we can keep the capital letter F in our mind. Okay, what about this one? Interior angles add up to 180 degrees. How? Now we have two parallel lines, this one, and then we have a transversal. Then we get a pair of angles that are, you can say, co-interior angles. They are inside the parallel lines. They are on one side of the transversal. So such angles, they add up always to 180. For example, if this angle will be 70, then for sure this angle will be 110. Clear? And how can we memorize what is the letter that we can keep in our mind for co-interior angles? It's C. Clearly you can see here, if I draw I mentioned these two angles, then the parallel lines and the transversal together, they are making a shape of the letter C. Same is the case here. C can be of this way or C can be of this way, like it can be flipped, right? Same is the case for Z. Sometimes the Z shape, it's not, look at this. If I take this Z shape, this one, the one that I'm showing with the purple color, this one, so this angle is 130 and this angle is also 130, but the Z shape is it's a little bit stretched, but it doesn't matter. It's not always like a proper Z shape. Clear? Now we are going to use all these rules to solve the questions from the exercise. Maybe I have to make 2 videos because it's going to be a very long video if I will make it in one, if I will try to cover all the questions in one video. So let's start. They said find the size of the marked angle X, giving brief reasons. So you have to give reason for each of your step. Now this question can be solved with 2 methods. Okay, the first method, if you notice that this line and this line, they are parallel to each other. So if I want to find this X, I have to find this angle, right? This angle A. Because if this angle A and this angle X, we are getting a Z shape here, like this and this and this, right? So if I want to get the value of this X, I have to know what is the value of this angle A. So how can we find angle A? Because it's in a triangle, so I can add 70 and 40 and subtract from 180 to get the value of the third angle. So we can say 180 minus 70 and 40 will be added. What is the answer for 70 and 40? It is 110. So finally it is 70 degrees. So what is the reason? Angles in a triangle add up to 180. This is the reason, right? Now the second step, this is step 1. Now step 2, we can say angle A, because we are finding angle X, so angle X is equal to angle A. What is the reason? These are alternate angles. This is a short way to write alternate angles. Now what about method 2? Better pause the video here, think on your own way how, like, what do I mean by method 2? Like, let's see, can you can you decide what is method number 2? So here is the answer for the second method. It's obviously the answer will be the same. How I did it, can you see here, I made the F shape here to get the corresponding angle. So this angle is 70 degrees, angle B. So if I name this angle M, that will also be 70 degrees, because this angle in the shape of F and this angle in the shape of F, these are called corresponding angles, and both of them will be 70 degrees, right? So we can say because of the corresponding angles. Now how can I find angle X? Now clearly you can see here we are getting a straight line. So angles on a straight line, they add up to 180. So if I want to find any of the missing angle on the straight line, I will add 70 and 40, this one and this one, and it will, the sum will be subtracted from 180. Hope you understand it. Okay, here is question number 2. Now better pause the video here. Again, this question can also be solved with 2 methods. Better pause the video here, solve both the methods. So here is method 1, the easiest one. Like, how can we get the value of M? This angle, whole angle is M. Okay, now how can we find the value of this angle M? Clearly you can see we have 2 parallel lines here and they are making the shape of C. So if this one is 110 and I want to know the value of this one, the angles in this C, or you can say co-interior angles, they add up to 180. So one of the angle you can get it as 70 degrees, right? Now what is the reason? They are co-interior angles. Now here, because the angles on a straight line, they add up to 180. So 180 minus 70, it will give you 110. Now I will erase everything from here and I will explain you the second method. So here is the second method. There's a Z shape over here, so because of that Z shape we have the alternate pair of alternate angles. So this angle P and this angle will be 20 degrees, both of them will be 20 degrees. So still we need to find Q. So how can you find Q? Because the angles in a triangle, they add up to 180, so you can get the value of 50 from here. So together now to find the value of X, because it's on a straight line, so you can say 180 minus the sum of 50 and 70. So the final answer will be 110. Obviously this method is easy to understand, but anyways, the one that is easy for you, you can go with that one. Let's solve one more question. This is question number 6. It says, how can you find the value of X? Now here is angle X. So clearly you can see, like, if I'm able to find this angle anyhow, I can the value of X and this angle will be equal to each other. Why? Because they are making a shape of F. So we have 2 parallel lines, and these 2 are parallel lines, AC and DF. They are parallel to each other, and this is the transversal, and we can see there's an F shape. So that means it's about the corresponding angle. So how we will find this angle X? I mean this angle. So let's name it, let's say Y. So how can we find Y? Better pause the video here and find it on your own. Here is the answer for this question. Because angle Y and angle X, they are corresponding angles, so they will be equal to each other. How can we find Y? Because these both angles are lying on a straight line, so they will add up to 180. If you know this one is 125, the other one will be 55 degrees. That's all for this video, students. I will make another video to explain the remaining questions of the exercise.